Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. Another hot summer week, and this is the beginning of the holiday season, so a lot of people I know are just out of town because you gotta visit your hometown, or it's very common to visit your hometown during this time. So it's the Obon season, which is closest equivalent would be like the Day of the Dead celebration. Except this is 3 days, and it's basically a visiting the cemetery, cleaning the grave, bringing the spirit. It's an ancestor holiday, so bringing the spirit of the dead ancestors back to your house. There's a shrine at the home, with some offering, some food, or something that maybe they would like to make them comfortable. So you bring them to the house on the first day, and then on the last day you bring them back. And I guess it used to be more commonly lanterns. So you'd put lanterns in front of your house to lead them there, and then they would put lanterns on the rivers and let them be taken away to lead them back to the other side, the afterlife. And that's been, I guess, because of the problems that causes cleanup wise or whatever. They don't do lanterns in rivers as much, at least from what I've seen in this side of Japan. They don't let lanterns flow in rivers because of the cleanup or the pollution or whatever they consider it. So I've seen some festivals where they just have fixed platforms in the rivers where they array lanterns just above the water. So it's very beautiful, and it lights the water, and people are walking around the riverside, festival area, and there's dancing and celebration, and usually stands. But it's they don't let them flow in the river, which kind of defeats the purpose. But so that's what this season is right now, and I guess it's a pretty old celebration, like 500 years old in Japan, and comes from kind of a Confucian, like a combination of Japanese Buddhism and Confucian idea, because a lot of Asian culture is about ancestor worship or respect to ancestors. So this fits there nicely. But I said it's similar to Day of the Dead in that you're communicating with your dead ancestors, but it doesn't have the not quite as celebratory, and I think Japanese have a different relationship to the dead than that whatever the Aztec culture, whatever that was that created Day of the Dead in Mexico, because it's much more embracing it and kind of laughing at it and making it fun, because you see all of the it's very decorative and very colorful, and then there's a lot of the way to deal with death is often humorous. So it's a bit different in that way. But I read that there was a So the origin of the kind of the idea was that, and this is a very old Buddhist story, but a monk lost his mother. And I don't know why my phone is ringing. Sorry about that. A monk lost his mother, and felt she was suffering in the afterlife, and didn't know if there was any way to bring her back or comfort her, if there was nothing he could do for her. So he went to his head monk of the temple. He went to some head of the temple and asked him if there's something he could do. And he said, what you should do is give offerings and take care of as many monks as you can that are returning from this religious trip. I'm for blanking on the word. The religious trip where they, traveled very far and worshipped and were very tired. So he served all of these monks and took care of them, and realized through doing that the sacrifices and the selflessness of his mother, and in that way she was comforted in the afterlife. So that is kind of the relationship, or the thinking is just to be aware of the sacrifices and selflessness that made you, by your ancestors, that made your life and your family possible. And I guess the Sanskrit that obon is taken from actually means, like the direct translation is to hang upside down. So it kind of denotes suffering. And so the idea is to alleviate suffering. And in a basic way, even if you're not pursuing or, following very strict celebration of the festival, just the fact that you're going to visit you're going back to your hometown and visiting your elderly family, I think alleviates suffering. So it still functions, like it still works. The tradition itself still works in that way, because even if you don't, visit the cemetery and go through actually all of the ritual of it, if you do, visit your mother who maybe, has lost her husband, and, that sort of thing, it does alleviate suffering. So it is still functional. The only thing I don't like about it is, just like everything else, the government doesn't see any problem with price gouging during holiday season. So there's basically 3 holiday seasons in Japan. There's the New Year's holiday, Golden Week, and Obon. And those are the biggest, kind of longest holidays that people have, and most of the time they travel, and they have to go because, similar to a lot of countries, everyone's attracted to the major metropolitan areas for employment and possibly school, but usually employment. And so they're far away from their hometowns, and so traveling home means flying, and everything is so expensive. And some people, if they don't have a lot of surviving family, or they just want to use that time, they don't want to see their family 3 times a year, they use that time for international trips. And so, visit Europe or Asia or, the West or Americas. And, but the prices are like doubled for everything during that time. It's very ridiculous. I don't know why they're not doing more price gouging with Japanese or with Chinese and Korean tourists in Japan. I hope they are. I hope they're taking advantage of that, because it sure does make this summertime miserable. But that's the thing that I really don't like about that, is how much they like to serve people that are willing to use bad business practices. So you can just so there are people, the sad part of it is like, working single people that, don't have any life, don't have any kids, they're not married, they've got, maybe some surviving family, and they want to do something, kind of for themselves. Their job is just terrible, and they, have little happiness in life except travel, and they save up their money all year just to give it all to the, travel agency for their overpriced hotel and airplane travel. So that's really depressing. I don't like that, that part of Japan that's still serving the business interests so much. So that's just sad. It's really sad that, yeah, people, if they could travel at any other time, they could have a much more reasonable time and maybe a nicer time. But not so when it's all taken away. Oh, I actually did have an idea for a cartoon. Maybe I'll try to draw a little of that. It sounds like something I've already done, but I don't know, maybe not. But, yeah, so that's the holiday. So tomorrow evening, luckily, so maybe a little bit cooler, I'll be driving relatives to the cemetery, because luckily every one of my in-laws is based around this area in the city, so we don't have to do any significant traveling. The only older relative that my wife's grandmother passed away, great-grandmother passed away last year, so that was the only person we would have to travel for. So that meant my daughter had a surviving great-great-grandmother for a while. That's amazing. That's really amazing. I mean, it's a little bit of an oddity because it was a second marriage, so of course she was younger. But yeah, that's still incredible compared to how early I lost all of my great-grandparents in the U.S. I don't think I was I just remember in like early elementary school, kindergarten, early elementary school, was just funeral. Yeah, I remember visiting them a few times, and then the next thing I heard about was their funerals. Happy stuff. All right, I don't know what I want to do with these, but let me think about something else here. Yeah, so that's what's going on this week in Japan. So it's 3 days. And it's a funny thing, too, because it's supposed to be the 7th month. The 15th is the main day of the 7th month, so maybe like the 14th, 15th, 16th, or the 13th, 14th, 15th. Other traditional days, but when they changed the calendar during the Meiji era, then there was some dispute about, well, that actually, according to the lunar calendar, it will be different every year. According to, the religious calendar, it is actually July, but we're going to, it became observed, or just kind of understood that they observed it in August. And I think that was just kind of a convenience thing, the summer vacation and all of that, because actually some, kids are still in school well through July. So, yeah, that means that, I'm not going to do that, am I? I think I'm drawing flour. Sugar is not in a bag like that. Yeah, I think flour is. I can't even think of the last time I've seen sugar in an American grocery store. I think I'll just draw a box with those tall boxes. But yeah, so that's an interesting kind of cultural difference. We don't have any. We've got, basically Memorial Day, but it's it's veteran memorial, it's not family. I mean, if your family is veterans, it is, but it's not strictly a ancestors holiday. So, yeah, it's an interesting cultural difference. Yeah, so I'm using the new setup again with the curtains, so I'm not sure how the camera is doing. It seems to be a little slow. I don't know. I might need to change the settings or updated driver or something. Yeah, so the camera image seems a little smeary, and it might be the low light because I don't have any lights on. It's practically dark in here, and so most of the light actually is coming from the tablet, and over this side of the room is lit. And I guess behind me, I've got the curtains are lit a little bit, but it's so bright. I mean, if you can remember, you had the white, the white of the sunlit window behind me, and then just a a silhouette before, so this is very odd. But I think it's not. There's not enough light to get a decent image. I have to play around with the settings a bit, because once I put the curtains up, everything kind of changed, and it seems a little odd. Oh, this is going to be, this isn't going to read so well. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Was picturing sugar in a bag like flour, but that's a probably very dated image. I might be able to do that. All right. Yeah, something like that might work. But yeah, so still plenty hot, and so because a lot of people are traveling, some people will drive, and it's a very tiny freeway system in Japan, so traffic jams are insane. It would just very easy. Any littlest, kind of the smallest thing happens, and the road's stopped. And when just everyone's traveling at the same time, there are just like some amazingly poorly designed roads here, where like the freeway will be 2 lanes each way, and then you'll come up on like a toll gate that broadens into like 5 or 6 lanes on each side, and then has to go back down to 2 lanes. It's insane. I don't know what they think they're serving. I mean, I guess maybe if it's a highway that needs to deal with long distance trucking and whatever, I mean, if there's different kinds of services they need to provide, but it's so crazy. So when the traffic is busy, you can get through the toll lanes easier, but then everyone's all backed up on the other side, and then that backs up into the toll gates and whatever. Yeah, it's a very bizarre design. I guess they built it thinking maybe we'll widen these freeways someday. I don't know. It's very odd, because most of the smaller areas, the toll gates are just 2 lanes because the freeways are just 2 lanes. But yeah, so I've seen bizarre things like that. And if you don't drive, those areas regularly, those kind of weird things catch you way off guard. Okay, well, that might serve for the original idea that I had. Oh, I'm looking a little shaky. Maybe too much caffeine or something. A little shaky. And I think, oh, there it is, that I'll need to do this. I think I've done this before, but hopefully I'm telling a different joke this time. But this feels like I've seen this image before. All right, so there's something. So I am slowly working on the next Citizen Spaceman, and I want to have that finished for Okinawa in October. So I may do some live streams, I guess, on this channel, because I don't have a general creative channel or whatever. So I may do some sessions of constructing those pages and things. I don't think it'd be fun to watch me write it, but the actual layout and pages themselves I may do as a live stream, just to kind of get me, motivated to do it. I don't think it's going to be a very interesting stream. I'll probably be pretty quiet during it, but it might be interesting to watch, because I constructed all in Illustrator, and I'm doing a bilingual book. And the mistake I made with the second issue is I didn't do the mock-up. So the original book, I did a mock-up version, and then kind of looked at how the layouts went together, how it kind of paginated, and how the pages fell. in the layout, and if I had everything kind of separated and it had the correct reading order, or if you accidentally read over to the next page, and if you so anyhow, so I need to do that in both left to right English style and then right to left Japanese. So it's a little bit of a challenge, and I made some mistakes, I think, in the last one that maybe someday I'll get a chance to correct, but I need to be careful about that. I need to make sure for this one I do a mock-up to make sure that how not only the reading order makes sense, but the pages that are going to be against each other, you don't get deceived into reading across. But yeah, comic books seem to be really bad at that recently, especially newer comics. People are trying to do kind of clever page layouts or whatever. It's just like, where do I go now? Where am I supposed to be reading? Because they need to follow that priority of left to right, up to down for English, and not doing that is very bizarre. So I hate when I'm reading a reaction of something and then or an answer, and then I read the question. It's like, ugh, that was a mistake. That was a layout mistake. So yeah, that kind of stuff is silly, and maybe just not. People are either experimenting too much or just not caring about those sorts of things. I'm gonna make this too big. You can see how shaky my line work is. All right, something like that. Okay. Yeah, so that was the idea that I had, the bowl of sugar. But yeah, there was something about there's just been a lot of stuff that's been going through my head. So I think it's a good time to try to do the Spaceman stuff, because I'm kind of getting a head full of ideas and things. But what was it? Yeah, I can't remember something that was kind of sticking in my head. But there's just a lot of memory. How memory exists and how it transforms. So I think a big part of the next Spaceman book is going to be a dream, which it will be just a memory, but because it is a dream, you don't know how reliable it is. It can have kind of dream logic and dream events, or dream kind of qualities, so that it may not be reality, but I'm gonna use it to serve as just kind of a way to deliver backstory. But at the same time, I want it to also be possibly unreliable, or not completely not something you can completely count on as factual, to kind of keep the fairy tale, or kind of the tone of the story. But yeah, so I skipped it this year. I was doing the Kaigai manga show for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the shows where it seems like it's the same people every year. So I'm trying the Okinawa show this year and getting, some nice promotion from that. So that will be good. Yeah. All right. I don't think I want to do this. I'm thinking about magazines. Oh, I kind of finished. I'm not really satisfied with the ending, but I finished another Enmity story, the little sci-fi, or kind of speculative fiction stories that I'd been working on. So that's the 13th. There's a couple of them that are just kind of fragments that I just kind of started with an idea and they didn't kind of get anywhere. And this one it didn't get somewhere interesting. It's a little unsatisfying in the end. But I got to think seriously about doing something with those because it would be a shame to just let them rot. So I'd really like to do the audiobook kind of podcast thing with them. So we'll see. But I was just calling it, I guess previously I was just calling it like Enmity Stories, Enmity Tales. And I've got to find a better way to kind of express the idea of them because they're kind of, case studies or like these, short stories about a character that's named at the beginning. So I just introduce a character and they're the main person that you follow through. So they are kind of, I don't want it to be pretentious though, but I want to give people a better idea than this is just a story. They're all taking place in the same world and you're looking at people in different parts of life going through different things. And yeah. So I want to come up with something that works well, that has, kind of an odd corporate sound, but without sounding pretentious or true crime-like or something. Because I was worried about, files or studies or cases or, I forget the, documents or incidents. I think incidents was one of them. It just sounds too true crime-y, which is probably good for advertising a podcast, but people will be incredibly disappointed when they find out it's not nonfiction. But yeah, so I've got to kind of think about that idea a little bit more. And have it be kind of clear what it is, but also, play into that kind of corporate managed thing. So you're kind of reading things that went wrong, errata, I don't know, things that, where the system failed these people, the corporate system failed these people, and this shouldn't be something that this wouldn't be something they would advertise. So, yeah, I gotta think of how that works or what I want to do with that. But talking through this has already made me have a better idea about it. So apologies for if nobody knows what the heck I'm talking about. Yeah. Something, stolen files or access data, data dump, file dump. Yeah, those kinds of things that you hear about now with all of your personal information. What was the latest one was Experian? Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so you've compromised all of your personal information. And the E3 had the ESA got a bunch of press contacts and wanted home addresses and phone numbers. And I don't think Social Security, but a lot of, doxable, kind of like SWATable personal information from all the press attendees. And they collected that and then just left it in a Excel file on a server that everybody found. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, there's so much of that. So much of the, people doing a half-assed job and their little middle managers just dumping stuff on them and, just these weird mistakes being made because nobody cares and nobody's really that accountable. And something goes wrong, that's what you told me to do. I hate when you see that so obviously done. Just people, dealing with technology that shouldn't be, because that's the only kind of office work there is anymore, dealing with technology. Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. The rumors have started that if it's true, they did such a terrible job of. I mean, it's been staring us in the face the whole time. If this is true, because so they were talking about the deal that was made between CBS and Paramount, and I guess whose CBS was acquired by AT&T or somebody, whatever. And so they've got greed and whatever. They are seeing Star Trek as a way. They don't care about making new Star Trek, but the merchandise still sells, and there's still conventions and stuff. So it still brings stuff in for them, and so when Bad Robot and all of their idiocy got involved in that, they basically were told, yeah, you can create. This is so bizarre. So the original series, or maybe everything that CBS owns, so all of Star Trek television, but I guess the main property is the original series. If you produce anything with that, the licensing for any goods, any merchandise produced, the merchandising rights, all of that goes to CBS. So the Paramount rights and the Paramount movies, to avoid that and to actually make money from their own products and merchandising, they have to be some percent different, and people are throwing around 25%. So it has to be at least 25% different. So that's like why you saw the Enterprise and Discovery look different, and the uniforms look different, even though it's just prior to the original series. So there has to be a difference, and if it's not a difference, then you can't. It's not merchandisable. It's not. The licensing will all go to the likenesses of the original series if it's too much like that. So the greed of these producers seeing that, well, that's where all the money is. All the money's in the merchandise for this stuff, or a big percentage of it. So we're not going to give that up. So we're not going to make those characters. We're going to make those slightly alternative timeline, Kelvin, whatever timeline characters. So to be able to make money from that and not just give more licensing opportunities to the rights holders of the TV shows, we're going to do something different. So that's why everything was a little bit different, and all uniforms and everything a little bit strange in the Star Trek movies, and then Star Trek television is all odd now too because of that. Because they want money, they want the extra gravy from working on new character or working on familiar property. So the thing that's the thing that's so frustrating is you're using an existing IP. So why do you feel that you're entitled to the money of lunchboxes and action figures and stuff for all? Yeah. So do original anyhow. So they're doing original, kind of original stuff within an IP, like alternative, whatever, like reboot, reimagining, whatever, to get that sweet merchandising money all to themselves. And now, and it just may be internet insanity because they're connecting all these things together, but it is the same people. It's still Bad Robot. And if that was the situation with them in Star Trek and why they walked away from Star Trek, the talk is that's why Star Wars is so weird, is because Disney bought them, but similar to that same situation, Lucas still has a piece of licensing likenesses of original, so prequel and original trilogy characters. So that there may be a similar clause or similar loophole or whatever if they're 25% or more different or completely original characters, then Lucas doesn't get any piece of that. So that might explain why that Star Wars land in Disneyland is all original, like who cares kind of stuff. And but the thing that was so frustrating or so bizarre for me is So that explains the weird changes that we saw in Force Awakens, the first sequel trilogy movie, the J.J. Abrams directed movie. And it's not mystery boxes like, everyone is talking about, oh, he set up all of these things that will be answered. And it's like, no, they just needed to make everything original, and anything old style, the old kind of classic characters or anything, needed to be modified just enough that they are different, can be considered different properties or likenesses or licensable, whatever. So the square dish on the Millennium Falcon and the red arm on C-3PO, and if that's true, that is just just so insulting and so bizarre. And we were looking at that the whole time, waiting for some answers to these questions. Ooh, 30 years have passed. What happened in this time? And there's these little changes. And no, those are just like pure, greedy business decisions to try to secure some, rights to get as much money from red armed C-3POs as possible. Yeah, just, ugh. Yeah, really, really nauseating. But yeah, I mean, I guess if they could have just come to terms with, okay, this is old man Luke and old man Han Solo and old woman Leia. That's not the same property. That's not the same character. We should be able to mark. Although there is no, I don't think there is a lot of value to the elderly character versions. But that's just so nauseating that you just see the, just the trashiness of those licensing and business decisions and the garbage negotiating they made and the garbage terms that they settled on. That's ridiculous. Not fun at all. So if that's the case, that even leaves a worse taste in my mouth than that Last Jedi mess. But that also explains why they're like, yeah, go for it, dude. Like, subvert those expectations, because then it'll be much more ours, much more licensable. And why are we getting so much of that? Like, that's the death of Warhammer Fantasy, the old world of Warhammer Fantasy, was those same reasons. I wonder if there's, some international copyright laws or something like changed in the legal system, or things were opened up in a way, or probably some EU related thing. It's like, I wonder if there was like an actual motivating factor that made all these companies just like, yeah, we got to protect this stuff as much as possible. And maybe just the internet, I don't know. But yeah, so people are just kind of refiguring things and renaming things just so they can claim them, they can claim ownership. So funny. Oh, we're just destroying boxes again. I don't want to do boxes. But, yeah, so if that's the case, that's disgusting. I mean, that's just nauseating. And when you have to see that stuff, I mean, it's one thing to, on some behind the scenes or some documentary about the making of something, hear about the business, the things that were going on behind the scenes, and be like, oh, so that's why the car was red or whatever, kind of financial reasons or budgetary reasons or time wise, or just some interesting little details that shaped, what you now see. Have these familiar kind of iconic things from movies. But then when you hear too much of that and you're just like seeing it, it's just apparent they're doing things that have nothing to do with story or theme or anything. It's just only greed that's motivating this. There's no creativity left in here at all. It's people making creative decisions based on, well, what's going to get us the most money, what's the most merchandisable. I mean, you're getting to work on an amazing IP that would just help your reputation. How many more millions of dollars do you need from stickers and t-shirts? Yeah, it's really bizarre. But but everybody's thinking that way. Yeah, this is almost a non-existent thing, so I don't know if I can even make a joke about this, but I guess I can try. Let's try that line again. Not that color. Oh, I think what's happened is my cell phone number has now been associated with my business because I don't use the I just have the landline hooked up with the fax machine and mute it because I'm getting spam faxes all the time. Yeah, Japan loves their fax machines. They still spam you. Like if you literally leave your fax machine plugged in, you've got robocalls all the time that send you, trips to Hawaii, ads all the time. Kind of shady companies are still spamming your fax machine in this day and age. But yeah, I think they've now associated business and and personal, so I should I don't want to have to change my number, but yeah, that's not good. That means it's going to be randomly ringing. All right. Oh, yeah, and that's the thing too. Is there's a huge I don't know if it's going on in Europe and the Americas too, but the big push for the digital payment services. So every company's got their own payment thing now, and people are to sell those are on commission. So there are people very aggressively, kind of going door to door and stuff, trying to sign you up for these, QR code based payment systems and accounts that are apps on your phone. So all of the, just every major company, all the convenience stores, everybody that has any sort of infrastructure to handle that. So obviously the, cell phone companies here, the carriers for cell phones, convenience stores, and all of the department stores and everything are all just, trying to do these digital payment services. And so to get them popular and spread out there, they're offering commissions to people. So you have a lot of aggressive people trying to sell this stuff, because I think for every sign up they get a piece, just like affiliate programs on the internet. So, but people are, doing it pretty aggressively. So let me know. Oh, I'm not watching my chat very well, but let me know too the volume. If the volume is okay on the stream, because I've kind of set up things again. I keep playing with the settings because the microphone gets used for other things during the week. But all right. So let's take a quick look here. So if this is your first time watching the stream, welcome, and thank you for joining me. So it's just kind of a rambling, draw and talk kind of thing. Let's see here. Yeah, so I'm streaming a little bit later than usual because it's the holiday. Nobody's working and nothing's around. So I appreciate the viewers, because I know it may be either incredibly early or incredibly late where you are. But feel free to yell at me in chat if there's some weird technical thing or whatever is not working. I am not great at following all that because I'm trying to talk and draw. And I think I seriously need to reconfigure everything because it may be better, because I have a monitor here and a monitor here. So I'm doing this all the time to find out what's going on. And it may just be better to have a monitor here and then one above it and maybe the camera in the middle. So I can just look up, to kind of, pay attention to levels and chat and things. That might work a little bit better because this is kind of weird and I never do it. I never, look over. So I may have to just kind of reconfigure things. So we'll see. And then it'll be a whole new series of problems that I create for myself as far as the microphone and everything. Okay, so I think, let's see here. Yeah, I think we've got something going on. All right, so let's take this opportunity to switch over to the comments segment. So just to distract you a little bit, let's take a look at the comments for last week and then hit the random button a few times and see if we can find anybody hating on the old the old stuff. All right. Okay. Are we okay? Okay, good. No dropped frames or anything. So I think we're okay. So, mic in frame. So let's switch over, and you're gonna get a little bit of infinite me, but then I'll try to minimize that window. But yeah, so here we go. I should have a little song or something that plays once at the beginning of this to give me a second to take a breath, but oh well, whatever. Comments, please. There we go. Okay, I can't see myself, so I'm hoping this is working. Actually, let me double check that the microphone is there. Yes, it is. Okay. So, this was last week, so my soup by the pound gag. So I've got 3 comments, 6 likes, and 2 pins. Yay, that's about all I do usually, yeah. So I don't mind the concept of the soup by the pound in plastic bags if I don't find a goldfish in the soup. I think referring to, basically this is the same drawing I do for a bag with goldfish in it and a bag of soup. It's, yeah, not a lot of variety here. Oh, let's do show all, because I think it just gives you like the top. Show all, there we go. The soups I buy are sold by the pound, says so right on the label. Is that a real thing? Yeah, well, soup by the pound. I guess if it's like concentrated or something, if it's not liquid, I guess then you would. Yeah, most packets like that I've ever seen have been one kind of fish or other in them. Right, yeah. So the fish stock, fish soup. Yeah, right. So, yeah, fish kind of something stock soup. Wow, soup by the pound. So I was trying to, make a stupid joke that you wouldn't sell liquid by the pound, and it was a bad business model, especially because it, could burst like a water balloon, it could just burst. But yeah, people seem to roll with it. So thank you for the comments. All right, and next, or previously, we have, I don't even remember. This is how fast my internet is. Aren't you amazed that I'm streaming? Oh, yeah, that's a classic. Back to the coffee and cocktails. It would soon be coffee's time to shine. One of my rare, smiling, happy cartoons. Wow, 13 likes. See, people don't like my sad cartoons. They like happy ones better. All right. So, yeah, you finished all your alcohol, and it would soon be coffee's time to shine. Perk you up for that drive home, right? Does that even work? I don't know, but that's as a new day dawns. Nice. Is this working? Trying to. Dish a shot of 2 of Tia Maria, please. Right. So yeah, the coffee. How do we know that coffee is not alcoholic? Yeah, and I guess that's a thing too, right? You switch to your hot coffee drinks, your Irish coffees, and your Kahlua and everything after you're done with the margaritas. All right. So, see, subscribers are so sweet, and all the people that are, all the people that read this want to actually read it, and then there's the people that Yeah, maybe they just purged all of those comments. Okay, here's a random one. Whoa, here we go. All included materials contain nostalgia, wishful thinking, and sometimes the location of updated information and software. All right. Printed in China, assembled in Mexico. Oh, that's great. Oh, 3 comments. Yeah, this is wow, this is a 2012 with 3 comments. Discarded with the packaging. Nice. Wow, bought in the UK, recycled in Africa. Oh, that's so depressing. Ugh, yeah, that's right. The you see those dumps, those kind of landfill kind of sites where they just set on fire all the old electronics, and then people just like mostly kids just like poke through them to like get the gold and copper and things that melted and so just they got a piece of dirty fabric tied around their face for health reasons, which does nothing, and just crawl through smoldering computers. Oh, that's the worst. Wow. Wow, that's great. Okay, well, I'm not going to press my luck. And actually, 2012 with some good responses. That's a beautiful thing. Wow. Yeah, and maybe, too, does it date 7 years ago? Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it was at the time. Wow, so when that was posted, it actually got response. Yeah, so some of the stuff we hit earlier in the aughts was completely devoid of... I don't think people had quite found me yet. Ugh. Well, anyhow, okay. One more. Random. Why not? Jeez, 5 comments. All right. Wow, this worked better than I thought. Okay. He wondered what could be so powerful that it measured in 1/8 of a teaspoon. Wow, that's right. Why could you be small? Oh, that's right. So dried habanero pepper. Nope, I had 1/8 of a teaspoon with my set of measuring spoons. So do I. And there's plenty of spices that are powerful enough. Saffron, strong curry, to name 2. I have measuring spoons for a dash, a pinch, and others. And they get pretty tiny, right? Don't they? Nothing. 1/4 teaspoon is the smallest size. Oh. I knew there was 1/8. I think this is back when I actually had access. 2008, yeah, I had access to actual measuring spoons that weren't all metric. Now everything is milligrams and milliliters and all that good stuff. All right, well, we got lucky. I'm not going to push my luck. So let's go back. Yeah, so there's no good way to do this. So here's infinite me again. Yay, back to the drawing. All right. Okay, so let's do a little coloring. And so, yeah, let's just go through here. Yeah, so I'll unless people are really hating that, I'll occasionally go back into the archives and check some of the comments, and you can see who likes to correct my grammar and all that good stuff. Yeah, that was really, I forget like what phase that was, but that was getting so annoying. Or I try to think of, because I'm trying to just think of something funny, and then people are like, I think actually that would be okay, actually you don't say, actually it would be lay, not lie. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that just gets exhausting. And so, and the problem with it's fine, you want people to use the English language correctly, but once you get that in your head, it's pretty stifling, like creatively, which is exactly the way people do it. If they're not doing anything creative. But it's pretty stifling when you're like, oh, is that what, so you keep like rewording and rethinking of things because you don't want to make, obvious weird mistakes where you're like, what would be, I don't know. And that's not good. You don't want to have that in your head when you're trying to just make people laugh or go, whatever I'm trying to do here. There we go. And so that's the thing I resent about it the most. It's fine if you're obsessed with correct grammar, but it's not cool that that puts it in your head and kind of then makes you rethink and reword something that probably would have a little clumsy or a little like not quite perfect grammar makes it funnier, and just that's not a consideration. I don't like that. Come on Get a little lag here. I have a feeling that the OBS, which you see me flicking to sometimes, is a little bit of a resource hog, because I do get into situations where I'm doing that and things just slow down. Especially, I was trying to stream a game once, and I cannot possibly make that happen with my current situation. But I was surprised how kind people were that were trying to watch me stream. They were not like, give it up, pal, you suck. They're like, yeah, it's fine, it's crashed again, but what are you doing? What are you up to? But that's a funny thing, that the hang thing is kind of new, like how much people enjoy you just finding somebody in real time just kind of doing something that, seems a little interesting or distracting, and just kind of watch them do it. That's a very new tape color, maybe a little more yellow. Yeah, it's a very new thing. I don't know what it is about it happening now. I think, because I stream it at not very convenient times, but the rise of, live streaming on YouTube, and it's always been a Twitch thing. But how that changes things, I guess it's like, live television. It's like, oh, it's happening now. Anything can happen. Like, it kind of changes your perception of what's going on, and you feel like you're involved more, or somehow participating in it, because you can affect it. And especially in the case of, streaming and things, you can be like, you can interact with people and ask them questions and things. And that's a whole different experience as opposed to the passive television thing where you're just, basically watching somebody play you a tape, like old television style. You're just watching a big beta tape being played. That's funny. Yeah, it's really funny when you when people are talking about television, and you realize how simple and primitive a lot of that, a lot of the way that worked was. When there was no maybe digital anything, people are literally, sending an intern on the subway with the broadcast tape. They just finished it and they're taking it over to, where they're going to broadcast it from, and they're down to the wire. That's amazing. That kind of stuff. But of course it did. Of course, it's always, in even like print comics and stuff. Like you've got, I actually did that. I remember that. You've got to get to the post office by this time. This is the latest we can mail it, because I need it by tomorrow. And you're FedExing things, and the FedEx, you had the FedEx time deadline, memorized. If I can't get it there by this time, then they're not going to get it. And that's so funny. That sort of thing. I guess I can do some of these. But things are now, I just email everything, or if it's big, sometimes links to cloud or FTP stuff. But that's it. It's so changed. But then there's the whole, I didn't get the link, link doesn't work, all that great stuff. The new kind of difficulty and incompetence. Oh, maybe just give these a little bit more gloss. All right. Sorry, I'm looking down. Yeah, I should come up with a better configuration for everything. This is just silly. All right, and then ground here. I was talking a little bit last week about the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was just listening to some podcasts talking about it, and it's a shame that that's going away. Big release movies that stick with you. That's the great thing. Even if you don't like Tarantino, the stuff he does, the images kind of stick in your head. It's memorable, and things that he does, you just kind of, they stick around in your head, and I think that's a sign of something that's well made and compelling. And I think we should not, because there's so many, kind of the big blockbuster type movies that you can't even remember which one was that. When did that happen? Like they go for these goofy emotional moments, and for the most part, you have no idea when you saw that or what that was. I mean, because they've done some compelling things, kind of elaborating on some of the comic stories, because in the comics there was some good stuff that they're basing this on. But it's like, yeah, you don't, it doesn't stick with you, and you don't go back, oh, I want to see that again. That was such an amazing moment. Or like the depth of that. The resonance of it, I guess, is the best. I don't know, like a better way to say that, but yeah, it just doesn't stick with you, and it doesn't have any layers. It's all that stuff is, all the summer blockbuster stuff is a million miles wide and an inch deep kind of stuff. All right, so let's color some breakfast. There we go. Let's do kind of a pink bowl. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think I'll just do some bright color. I don't like that weird green. There we go. Something that's going to be unprintable. And maybe the sugar as well. There we go. All right. Yeah, that works. Okay, and I think I want to do some more this kind of stuff. There we go. And stuff printed on the box. Maybe red. All right, and try some brighter colors. I think I had a painted cereal box that kind of did this deal, and maybe Yellow. Maybe a super bright yellow. There we go. Maybe I'll do the dietary information over here. Whoa, didn't close that well, did I? Okay, so let's put some shading in there. I think I'll just leave it bright. I think it looks nice. Bright. Oh, but that's the thing I wanted to say about that is, yeah, it sticks with you, and I'm still kind of thinking about it. And yeah, that's nice. That's a nice thing, and that seems pretty rare. I mean, unless you're seeing a kind of indie art film, more kind of mainstream released films just don't do that. Oh, this is all going to be. Yeah, okay. And here. But good scenes, good tension, and then stuff that, stays with you because you feel the kind of creator's intent in a good way in it, and it's not, yeah, it's just like once you kind of get what makes him tick, you enjoy the choices in the movie and stuff. And you don't quite feel that way watching Transformers. Oh, come on. There we go. Maybe some here. Okay. Let's see how that's doing. Sure. Yeah, I think, like I said before, too, the only thing that I wish that movie had, was the main actor in it. Maybe because, people underrated Jackie Brown so much, maybe he didn't want to do that, and he's gotten better, or feels more satisfied with reactions from Django and Glorious Bastards and stuff, so wanted to kind of include that kind of success. But a movie about washed-up actors not using washed-up actors is odd, because, I mean, compare that to the end of Jackie Brown, like the across 110th Street on the radio, and she's driving away at the end. Oh, man, it just hits you so hard. And Robert Forrester just kind of going back to his life, and, he missed his chance. He missed his chance with Jackie, and just like, oh, yeah, that's such good stuff. But, yeah, I don't know why, maybe people didn't react. So it's just boring. It's not interesting. It's not, enough pop culture references and shootouts. I don't know what, that's difficult because, I feel that a lot about liking Sopranos, because I love how that's written, and anybody that I try to encourage, you should give this show a try if you don't know it, they're reacting to, ugh, I don't want to watch a bunch of greasy Italians, whatever, but it's like, okay, that's so overpowering to some people that they can't get past that. And I think that's what happens when you've got, real compelling or real, shocking imagery or kind of new stuff that really, wakes people up, and then that just becomes what you're known for, and people you know, more casual fans and things. That's what they want to see if they are going to go see one of your movies. That's what they want to see. They want that standoff at the end of Reservoir Dogs, Resident Evil Dogs, Reservoir Dogs, or kind of the below the pawn shop. Is that a pawn shop in Pulp Fiction or something? Yeah, where it's just bloody shootouts. That's what you're known for, right? So yeah, people get real one-dimensional, or one thing that they like, or one thing that they want to see. And Jackie Brown didn't have that. They had a lot of great tension, a lot of great acting, and stuff that hurt because it was actors at the end of their careers playing people at the end of their careers, just trying to get a second chance, trying to keep it together. And yeah, good stuff. But let me maybe put a little suggestion of, we're still doing this, there we go, suggestion of a bag in here. That'll help. There we go. Okay, and some eyes. Maybe smaller. Whew. Man, I'm a little twitchy today. That's weird. I think my mouse, I did something to this mouse. It's super sensitive now. And so, on the surface that I've got it on, it's jumping around like crazy. Yeah, what's going on with these eyes? Oh, back up. Yeah, I wonder let me know how annoying that keyboard sound is, because I really screwed that up when I was first doing the live streams, because I put the microphone on a stand right on the tabletop with the keyboard, and I think a lot of people have done that. I've seen that mistake a lot, and so all you hear is this those really old school sounding keyboard every time somebody touches a key, or they'll be live streaming, they're chatting and doing stuff or looking stuff up, and just the keyboard noise is unbelievable. Yeah, all right. Soup by the pound. Okay, so sugar and fruit. Oh, all right. Oh. So let's take a quick trip to the convenience store before we get any of these written. How are we doing time-wise? Yeah, I think we're good. After the convenience store, things go pretty quick, if I don't have to think too long about the joke. Oh, all right. But, all right, so here, if you're the first time you're watching, this is a little thing that I've been doing where on my way here, I just kind of hit the convenience stores, and there's nothing holiday related now this time, but I hit the convenience stores and bring something to just kind of share and talk about. And so this isn't holiday related, which I was hoping to find, but it's not something that convenience stores support as much, because you don't want to bring your ancestors things from convenience stores. You want to bring them expensive things from department stores. All right, so let's switch over to that. All right, so I'm breaking my, or I guess I'm reinforcing the fact that I warned you that there'd be a lot of ice cream. But this is ice cream. This is not actually cold ice cream, because that got pretty unpleasant, I think, for you to watch me try to eat before it melted on camera. But I talked about, and I can't remember if I've shown this before, but this is a different version, so it'll work okay. But who is this again? The same company that actually makes the ice cream makes these. Is it Meiji? Is it Guriko? Guriko. Glycogen, remember? They loved the sound of glycogen, so they named their company after glycogen. So here we go. So here we have the giant Caprico cone, which looks pretty much identical. It's a little bit smaller, but it's not as giant, but as the actual ice cream cone. So in the freezer section, you'll find these ice creams like this that have this, you kind of open it this way. And it also has all of these levels of tabs, so you can tear it off as you're eating it. So you're holding it in the paper and not getting it all over your hands, and you can tear off the tabs. So similar packaging, but this is not ice cream. It's kind of like it's the freeze-dried version, the kind of astronaut ice cream version of things. So is there anything funny on the packaging? Not particularly. So it's just as delicious. Oh no! Ew! I thought this was chocolate. Oh no! Now you're gonna have to watch me make a face. I assume this was chocolate. The other flavor they had was terrible. But this is Shuka Shuka cola. Ugh. Cola flavor. No, it says chocolate. What's cola? Oh, maybe it foams? What's cola? Okay. It says chocolate. Oh, cola. Oh, I see. Oh, it's chocolate and cola. Okay. It's both. It is chocolate. I thought for sure I saw chocolate. Yeah, it says chocolate there. There's chocolate, but it also says cola. So it's mixed with cola. So if we look at the diagram, the anatomy, so it's indicating that the center is chocolate, but the outer shell is cola and chocolate. Yuck. All right, well, let's try this. I don't like fake Coca-Cola flavored stuff. Blah. So, ta-da, there's an ice cream cone, but it's not melting. It's completely dry. Yeah, so it's just that kind of crunchy. So it's in the same cone, I believe. Yeah, this is the Guriko cone. So it's in the same cone as the actual ice cream, but as you can see, it's not. It is a little soft though. Yeah, because it was stuck to the wrapper. So it's not the super crunchy freeze-dried one, and it might be because of the humidity too. It kind of gave up its styrofoam like. I'm not looking forward to cola and chocolate, but as you can see, you'll see by me biting into it, this is not ice cream. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's terrible. Like a chocolate, like a fake chocolate Coke. Oh, it's so bad. I hate fake cola flavor. Oh, it's horrible. It's very fake cola flavor. It's just like if you buy the, store brand, store brand cola, just the generic, whatever their store brand Coke equivalent is, and it's too sweet, and it's got like the wrong, whatever that is, that's part of the Coca-Cola recipe that they always get wrong for the cola flavor. That sickening sweet, what is that? It's like a weird, it's not cinnamon, but it's like something in that family, and it's weirdly sweet. It's like old lady candy flavor, like the, candies that your great grandmother would have. And you're like, oh, I like candy. And it's like, ooh, yeah. Wow, that's bad. Gah. Oh, wow. Okay, well, sorry. I can't believe I missed the cola on this. I thought it was just going to be an easy to eat chocolate. Okay, there's chocolate in the center, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it. And it's gummy. It's like not hard. Yeah, there we go. Below the surface is just chocolate. I still got a lot of that cola though. Oh, ugh, that's terrible. So look out for that. Learn the katakana for cola. If you don't like the incredibly cheesy, cheap kids flavor of cola, yeah, avoid stuff. There's a lot of cola candies and stuff, and they just kind of knock off the Coca-Cola logo for it. But yeah, cola flavored stuff. That's interesting. I wonder what that is that they get so wrong. That makes the sweetness weird, and with a combination of chocolate, it makes it extra noticeably disgusting. Ugh. But anyhow, these are kind of the astronaut ice cream, kind of freeze-dried versions of the chocolate cones. And so just like the chocolate cones, they don't have any like hard shell chocolate or anything on them, but they're kind of two flavors. Like the center will be like a chocolate core or strawberry core or something, and then some other kind of combination of flavor on the top. So yeah, they're replicating those cones. Oh, that's horrible. Oof. It was the last one left too, so it must be a popular flavor. Gah, cola, chocolate, and it's just such a terrible simulation of that flavor. Oh wow! So sorry. This week I didn't think it was going to be so disgusting. I thought this was going to be painless and a happy thing, but as you can see, so and they also do packs of a very tiny cone version, and so like just kind of like you can eat them, kind of bunch of different flavors. So they'll have like a chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, separate cones, that style, just the hard, kind of very dry astronaut ice cream type stuff. And usually it's fine. It's wonderful. Ugh, just watch out for the exotic flavors. Yeah, I just saw at the grocery store last night, I just saw ramen ice cream, ramen flavored ice cream. I think it was like chicken ramen ice cream or something. Yeah, the experimental flavors here are a bit brutal. All right, but yeah, if you want to have something that you can just put in your bag and have for later and don't have to worry about melting, and kind of simulates the flavor of ice cream, just not the coolness. So there we go, dry ice cream for summer. Ugh. Yeah, that's terrible. So I'm suffering for the Obon holiday by having to taste cola ice cream. Oh, that's terrible. There's certain flavors, like Tootsie Rolls are right on the verge of being that flavor for me. Like they're not quite the right kind of chocolate flavor. That super sweet, kind of weird. They're not quite chocolate. And they're right on the verge of me hating them, the flavor of that. So that's that same kind of thing where it's just like it's too sweet and it's just none of the flavors are right. And there's a bunch of something in there, some spice that they think is like part of the cola recipe that just, oof, that's terrible. Yuck. Anyhow, yeah, I should look that up, like what they think the recipe for, Coca-Cola syrup is, and what they do to try to simulate that, because it's the worst. All right, well, sorry about the big disgusted face, and let's get back to the writing part. Okay, so there we go. So was that? I hope my voice was coming across on that. Let me check real quick. Bum. Yes, it was. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I didn't think that whole thing was going to be done in silence. All right. Oh. That is disgusting. That's brutal. Yeah, I could never. So I've been tempted when I'm in the convenience store. Sometimes I'm tempted to get some of the disgusting dried fish snacks and do that. Just like try those things on camera. But I'm not cut out to be that. I can't stomach a lot of that stuff. So it's just going to be me very disgusted and nauseous from that kind of stuff. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Like who's the British YouTuber that will eat like 40-year-old tins of people send him old food and he eats it on camera on the brown sofa. I can't think of his name, but yeah, he does that, and I have amazing respect for someone that can do that kind of thing, because I'm not built that way. My stomach will not allow it, and I think that would get old pretty soon. That would get old pretty quick if that became my shtick. And he tries stuff too. I mean, I think he's tried it on camera, but the camera's facing the sofa, and so you see the thing, and then he eats it off camera. So you hear him eat it, like he's definitely eating it, but you don't see it actually go into his mouth, which is probably good. I think that's the mistake I do, is I do a close-up camera and then I'm eating disgusting things, and that's not good. All right, so I got eyes on both of these, right? Yep. Okay. All right, let's do this. Wow, still got a little bit of lag here. Oh, so if that's your first time watching the convenience store segment, it's better than that usually. It's usually me blissing out. I'm usually in heaven because I get things that I'd like to eat. Yeah. Wow, that was brutal. Cola chocolate ice cream. Yeah, so yeah, like the thing that like makes root beer taste not good is the same kind of thing. That same kind of weird flavor that I don't like in simulated cola. All right, enough of that. Oh. Okay, so so he had to respect. So giving up sugary breakfast cereal just for sugar is the joke. So how do I want to get there? He had to give up. He had to admit. He had to respect the honesty. He had to respect the honesty of putting that much sugar on breakfast cereal. He had to respect. So something, and honesty, the gluttony, the decadence. The decadence might be. It made me laugh. I probably have to figure out how to say that. So he had to respect the decadence of putting that much sugar on breakfast cereal. And decadence. I'm going to have to figure out how to spell that later. Decadence. Of putting that much sugar. He had to respect. He respected the honesty and decadence of putting that much sugar on breakfast cereal. He had to respect the honesty and decadence of putting that much sugar on breakfast cereal. Okay, I think we'll go with that. I don't think I'm spelling decadence right. Maybe. I tell you, autocorrect and spell check have ruined my spelling ability. Not that it was ever amazing, but I was pretty. Things looked right or looked wrong, and now I can't even tell anymore. He had to respect the honesty and decadence of putting that much sugar on breakfast cereal. All right. And I think I'm they. They had the obvious reservations about a monthly fruit sub. I think these things are going away. This is going to be so dated. Service. So what are the obvious reservations? Obvious reservations. They had the obvious reservations about a monthly fruit subscription service. Obvious reservations. Yeah, I think something like that. Let's get that. To procrastinate even further, let's get the banana casting a little more of a shadow. There we go. Maybe put, something. There we go. And there we go. Now the fruit is in front of themselves. Maybe do this. Okay. They had the obvious reservations about a monthly fruit. They all had. They all had the obvious reservations about a monthly fruit subscription service. Yeah, fruit in the mail, though, is not... I think that's, still a thing. Yeah, because the way fruit's shipped to a lot of markets and department stores here is still very much in crates and boxes. They all had the obvious reservations about a monthly fruit subscription service. I think the bowl is sad. Not like that. All right, and maybe put some printing and postage kind of stuff on the... It's a little too curly, huh? Quite like, oops, how that looks. Maybe just lines would be better. Okay, something like that. They all had the obvious reservations about a monthly fruit subscription service. I think that's it. And he had to respect the honesty and decadence of putting that much sugar on breakfast cereal. I have definitely done a sugar on breakfast cereal joke. I just hope it's not the exact same one. Well, please let me know if you remember it. It takes me forever to go back through the archives and find those things. There we go. Okay, but that's a very familiar cereal box. All right, I think we did it. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. And if this is your first time, I am here around this time every week. So your Sunday night if you're in North America, Monday morning if you are in Europe, and yes, so feel free to tune in. And the archives is that that light? The archives is full of weeks and weeks of this. It's coming up on 2 years soon. And yeah, I just want to say a big thank you for my patrons. You are the reason this happens. And if you'd like to keep this going and make it happen more often and make the cartoon happen more often, please consider supporting the cartoon on patreon.com/abusecartoons. You can follow me or this cartoon on Twitter at abusecartoons. Abusecartoons.com is the website. And where I read my comments from is gocomics.com. And gocomics.com is a subscription for digital cartoons and comics. You can subscribe and receive thousands of comics every day in your inbox. So take a look at that. There's a great community of big fans of cartoons, and they don't threaten to kill you like people that aren't on that site do. Yeah, I wish that still existed. I should have screen capped and archived that, but yeah, I got like death threats early on because my cartoon was on the same site as Calvin and Hobbes, and people were not going to tolerate that. Yeah, that's amazing. People forget, as much as they think, internet now is vicious and terrible, it's always been that way. And especially in the 90s, I think it was even worse because people were just still feeling their way around that. And if anybody would like the rest of a cola, chocolate, freeze-dried ice cream, send me an email or direct message, and I'll get that right over to you. Ugh. Anyhow, so I do this every week, and please feel free to join me and message me during the drawing process and give me some feedback. And if you enjoy the cartoons, there are thousands of them in the archives on Abuse Cartoons and, of course, on Go Comics as well. And there's also with the Patreon, you have access to signed books and original art and things if you would like to get more involved and get some of that stuff. And if you will be visiting Okinawa in October, I will see you there. Okay, I will see you next week. Thank you so much, as always, and goodbye.